What if Instagram and Facebook are not coming back? What if their platforms got wiped off the face of the earth? What are us content creators going to do then?
You think that you have 6 million followers, but in reality, you wake up every day, you talk to your computer or you talk to your camera.
Let me work with a creative director and come up with a new brand logo, redo my website, do a fun photo shoot for new headshots.
That's such a great, wow.
Now we have a lot of million follower creators, like those huge creators online. We're going to the world where we'd have a lot of smaller creators, like niche creators, because people are looking for relatability online, and you can't get that with a huge influencer.
One is really interesting for us. It sort of just depends what people are looking for. It's less about the numbers and it's more about the engagement. I have like 370,000 followers on TikTok, but that's actually small potatoes compared to some of these other cats that have like 2, 3, 4 million followers. But because I've end up checking some boxes for some people of being Latinx and LGBTQ, which those things seem to be trending. It just sort of depends. So it's not about the numbers, it's about kind of what's happening in the world right now. And it's definitely more about engagement. So that's something to pay attention to.
The micro-influencer space is doing very well right now, and that is around that 10,000 mark. So you can absolutely be making money. The AdSense revenue on, say, YouTube isn't going to be crazy, but you can definitely get brand deals that, can help you get by. And the more niche your content is, just like Jose said, the more specific brands are going to really, really want you.
Know that those followers are following you because of what you're doing. So it's very specific to something. Whereas somewhere where I'm doing, which is very related to the subway, it's 2 million followers, but they could be anything. You have no idea. So the micro influencers are definitely, even though it may be 10,000 followers, you can definitely pique the interest of some brand deals.
10,000 significant.
But I would say it definitely took me quite a few years to start making an income, simply because I chose to say no to a lot of deals until I had my brand in a place that I wanted it to be. And then I started taking those kind of top tier Fortune 500 brand deals. And that was just like the way I wanted to play the game, but everybody's different.
When you start a blog, you become an entrepreneur, and because you have to manage a lot of things, like you have to produce content, then you learn how to build a team, and then you see all the opportunities on the market. And without how do you apply for funding? Whenever I talked, when I was buying my first car, and I told the guy, he was like, "How much do you make a month?" And I was like, 14K. And he's like, "How do you make it?" By making videos. He didn't believe me. He thought I was like this stupid girl who's like, I don't know. People didn't take this seriously. Now they understand that when you have the audience, you have means to build new products. You have means to create new opportunities for people. And I've been doing this for 6 years. First of all, it's a super lonely journey because you think that you have 6 million followers. But in reality, you wake up every day, you talk to your computer or you talk to your camera.
The biggest part of back then, quote unquote, is how far we've come as creators. We have to evolve on a daily basis. Everything's changing. Algorithms are changing. The interfaces are changing. Everything on these apps are changing. So I think it's been really fun to actually grow with these platforms.
Brands and people in general have more respect for creators, because when I started in 2015, 2016, I would never tell anyone that I'm a creator. I would just tell that I have this side thing, but don't watch it. I didn't take it seriously myself because people thought it was something for kids to do. Now people understand that this is a way to make a living. This is a way how you talk about your passion and how you change the world, basically change the community around you. And that means people are getting investments. People are working with huge companies. And before that, I would text a company or email a company and they would tell me, we don't work with influencers. This is not the right level for us. And now it's just, it's mass market now, which is great. And I just love how we evolve from just being a creator to being a creator/entrepreneur and all of the things that I mentioned.
That's such a great, wow. You're catching me in one of those moments right now. I was just having a conversation with a friend where I'm feeling a bit, burned out. We do, we put out a lot. I put out a lot for my kids. We're running businesses. It's getting colder. It's getting darker, right? So that's something that I've been trying to pay close attention to. And so I think the key is to obviously be mindful of it. And I think that you have to keep your close friends close. So having a strong support system, be unapologetically selfish when you need to, and have a sense of humor around it, and I think it's okay to, take breaks, be mindful of what you're doing, because you don't want to not enjoy what you're doing. And it's okay to sometimes not enjoy what you're doing and still put things out because, it serves the purpose of whatever your task is, but really have a balance with it. But
funny enough, I got more burnt out during COVID than I have ever been before creatively. And it's because I'm personally inspired by the real world, by real life experiences and sharing those with people from a blind woman's perspective. And all of a sudden I was just sitting in my apartment every day. It was very hard for me to think, like, how do I create 2 YouTube videos, 7 TikToks, 7 Instagram posts every week, like when I'm sitting in my house. And at first there was all the relatable content I could make, but at the year point, you're like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm struggling a lot, and how do I do this? And so for me, I really delved into like, okay, I haven't rebranded in years. Let me work with a creative director and come up with a new brand logo, redo my website, do a fun photo shoot for new headshots. And I just delved into coming up with a new brand color scheme and just giving myself a refresh from literally getting an online facelift with how my brand looks. And that just kind of just having that creative, working creatively with somebody to do that really refreshed me.
I'm sitting here like, what happens if those go away overnight? That's a very scary thought. So I don't know what those platforms need to do to figure that out. But if that were to happen, that would cause a huge problem for a lot of us.
2030, I don't know, metaverse, I think we're moving into the world where everyone is going to have some social presence. Even people who are like, I'm not going to start posting, because this is the way we discover each other. And this is the only way to show your passion and to show what you're doing to the rest of the world. And metaverse, starting our own rooms, starting our own, offices. I think this is where we're going. And people who don't consider themselves creators these days, I think they're going to consider being a creator in 3 or 5 years.
The simple things will scale, and creators need to, and what the offering is going to creators need to simplify themselves. And the fact that there's just going to be an inundation of companies trying to do all sorts of things,
right,
I think really not going to work. So you're going to see, winners and losers throughout the next 2-3 years in a much faster pace than has been happening at any other time.
Right.
So I think the kind of message was like, hey, creators want 25 services, right? I think that they probably want 3 or 4 or 5.
Right.
It has to be really specifically helpful and immediate, right?
Right.
I think the whole idea of something that would eventually help a creator is kind of really or Trojan horse ideas that are going to ultimately say, hey, we're going to offer you 25 things. It's going to be very hard to get creators to just adopt one platform that does all things. So I would say the winners are going to be those that are hyper-focused.